One of the biggest days of protests against President Trump and his policies, it took place on Saturday in cities around the U.S. Coast to coast, people came out in droves for the No Kings rallies, in what Trump's critics view as a president acting more like a monarch than an elected official. According to organizers, nearly 7 million Americans participated in roughly 2,700 marches. The largely peaceful protests come amid accusations that Trump is pushing this country toward authoritarianism, or in some protesters' views, we are already there, including using the office to advance his family's business interests, sending federal troops to Democrat-run cities, and using the Justice Department to arrest his political enemies. Democratic lawmakers also embraced this weekend's No Kings rallies, with many taking aim at Trump and Republicans, trying to brand the protests as hate America demonstrations. Watch this.
Donald Trump is not a king. Donald Trump is a bully.
Millions of Americans are coming out today not because they hate America. We're here because we love America.
No dictators! No kings ever!
We will not give in! We are the people's movement that will save our democracy.
And the last person you saw right there was Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. She joins us now. Congresswoman, thanks for making time for us tonight. So how are Democrats going to take the energy, the many concerns? I mean, there were signs out yesterday that said, I don't even know what to write on my sign because there are so many things I'm freaked out about. So what are Democrats planning to do with those fears, the energy and activation we saw? How do you channel it forward into action now?
Yeah, Antonia, the first thing I have to say is this was amazing. Okay, this was the largest ever protest in American history. 7 million people out in the streets. And I think that the energy that I felt in Seattle, we had 90,000 here in Seattle, across the country, in small towns, in big towns. What this was is people saying they're not going to sit back and be quiet. But I do think we have to take this minute to just recognize how much organizing went into this, and that the ask, because I was listening to the conversation at the top of the show, the ask really isn't just a single ask. There are really numerous things that people can do to get engaged, whether it is calling your member of Congress, your Republican member of Congress, to end the shutdown, provide health care for the American people, or whether it is in larger ways around immigration and how to fight back against the militarization in our streets. I'll tell you that we had one of our resistance lab trainings today. We had over 1,000 people online getting detailed information about what they can do to step in. So yesterday was one of those moments of coordinated protest, but it doesn't begin or end with that. It actually goes into every single day. What can people do to keep our republic, in the words of Benjamin Franklin?
So let me get your thoughts on the response to this from the President of the United States. Obviously, yesterday, the banner of the march was No Kings. It seems that the official White House, obviously the president, embraced that moniker because they've been posting AI-generated videos of him as the king, and in some, video posted online, him over with a fighter jet dropping what appears to be feces on the protesters. But I want to give you a chance to respond to that and what you think that says about the mindset, not of just the president, but of the White House and this administration in what they saw yesterday.
Well, Eamon, he is unhinged. I mean, that was an unhinged video coming from the top leader of the greatest democracy in the world. And I think it just shows what little respect he has for U.S. citizens and for the rights of our Constitution, the right to peacefully assemble and protest. And look, this is all about the image that he wants to project of total power, of total control. He does want to be king. He's a wannabe king who is trying to use every lever of the government to promote promote his control. It's disgusting, as are so many things that he does. But I think that it really shows exactly what this administration is trying to do: suppress dissent, show their power, and use the government for partisan purposes, not to benefit the American people, not to lift up the rights that are so clearly articulated in our Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, but actually to try and mock, suppress, dehumanize, and stop any kind of resistance.
Congresswoman, as we were discussing right before you came on, there are some limits to what Democrats can do to push back against these authoritarian actions because they're in the minority. Republicans need to hold their own accountable, which right now seems like a fantasy almost. Do you think yesterday's protests made any difference in how your Republican colleagues might be thinking about those kinds of questions? Are they more afraid of being held accountable for not holding their party leader to his office?
Well, Catherine, I do think that in a couple of different ways. One is we've already seen some cracks emerge with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that she agrees that we should be providing health care to people and that this shutdown is Republicans' fault. The second is in the polling, right? The turnout in the streets is also a measure of public opinion and where the public is. Polling is another expression of that. And when you look at the absolutely dismal approval ratings for Donald Trump, and in fact, the disapproval going sharply up on any number of things, from, the big bad betrayal bill that was passed by Republicans cutting 15 million Americans off of health care, or the militarization of our streets and the deplorable mass deportations that are proceeding and the violence of ICE. And so I think in both of those ways, you are starting to see the public pressure go up. And I think I heard you or somebody say that at the end of the day, the Republicans have to feel that pressure. Republicans in Congress have to feel that pressure. That happens when you build the public momentum. And so while it's true that we don't necessarily have a ton of legislative tools in the minority, one tool we do have is that they still do need our votes in order to pass anything. And so we're now on day 19 of the shutdown, the 26th consecutive day that after Mike Johnson sent us home, where the Republicans are on an extended vacation. And I think it is just very, very important for us to understand that the American public understands, is with us on this and on so many of these topics. Republicans will start to feel that pressure, I believe.
Congresswoman, the shutdown shows no end in clear sight. Today, Speaker Johnson reiterated that this could go on for a while yet and that he does not see an end in sight. Are Democrats looking to shift tactics? Do you think that you have put ACA subsidies in the forefront of the conversation? Do you think that the Republicans saying that they are willing to deal with ACA subsidies after signing the CR, is that sufficient for Democrats to move on?
Elise, I don't think that's sufficient. And I think our leaders in the House and Senate have been very clear about that. Republicans have made and broken promises again and again and again, and we're not going to get fooled by that again. So we understand that right now, those notices about premium increases, the premiums increasing, doubling and tripling. If you're a 50-year-old senior couple that makes $95,000 a year, your premiums go up by $17,000. If you're a couple making $53,000, your premium is going to double. And so I think that people are now seeing that because they're getting those notices. And I think that Republicans are going to be forced to actually negotiate with us. We've been clear. We want to cancel the cuts. We want to extend the premiums. We want to lower healthcare costs for the American people. And that has to be set in stone, not a promise, not a guarantee, just actually doing it right now, and no ability to take it back by then pulling back the funds. So that's our demand. And I think that as people continue to feel the impacts of this, Republicans are going to see this, because 80% of the people who are going to see their premiums double and triple live in states that elected Donald Trump. So these Republicans that are refusing to negotiate with us around this are actually going to be feeling the pressure from their own constituents, as you heard Marjorie Taylor Greene, I can't believe I said her name twice, but Marjorie Taylor Greene saying about her own constituents, right? They're going to start hearing those stories from people.